So I'm here, guys, at Hotel Nikko. I'm here with John Swartz. He's the bartender here in this hotel, and we're just sitting in one of his bars here. Today, we're going to talk about what is a good training program for a new bartender when you're onboarding them, right? So we'll just deep dive into training. What does the first 10 days look like? Maybe what does after 6 months, if there are any modules, and what does a performance evaluation look like? Just to make sure that I think it's on you that you've trained well. What kind of metrics do you look for, John? How long have you been bartending for?
I've been bartending for 20 years.
20 years, right?
Off and on. So I did start it at 21.
Yeah.
And I started at nightclubs. And then I've been back and forth at some fine dining restaurants.
Yes.
Some just corner bars, dive bars,
yeah.
all sorts, and it's been a hayride. And I've done service, waiting, table service. I've also been manager at several places, but at the end I like coming back to bartending.
So let's deep dive into training programs. First thing I would say is start with literally the new person is walking here 10 a.m. and what do you do from there?
So very well. So when somebody does, when we welcome a new staff member, it is important that we review a sheet of processes, and usually, yes, it's divided about 5 days what we're expecting, so to cover most of the things. And what we expect is that they have all the material, which is the menu, the drinks, but obviously that you can study on your own time. We may go over it, but first it's also introducing the layout of the place.
Okay.
And it's best when we usually start a shift, that person will shadow, meaning that person will just follow and just tag along and just watch and observe the operation.
Okay.
And many of our bartenders should already have about 3 to 5 years of experience. That's what we ask for.
And what allows you to have experience, so at least you don't have to cover the basics, I guess, of
So here
serving?
at the Nikko, we're aiming for a 5-star Forbes service.
Got it.
And we expect professionalism from the bartenders. We expect that they come from fine dining restaurants, that they work to make it easier, and then use that experience and apply it and amplify it here at the Nikko, giving that service and even a more personalized service. But also prior to that, also having experience at other bars, so they know that we have to be quick and efficient, and we must know already all the cocktails, so all the classic cocktails.
And is there things like creating an email or a tech department introduction or team introduction? Hey guys, I have this as a new, entire hotel knows about your person, bio, pictures. What are the formalities? I mean, are there processes like that in place? And then they get some access to your systems, at least some systems. Then there is a PowerPoint. Is there any about Nikko properties?
Yes. So in fact, the very first week they already talking to the director of food. There's food and beverage, but also of quality assurance.
Okay.
And this is to go over again the 5-star Forbes service. And we do have our presentation in one of our conference rooms, and we go and evaluate what are we expected and what are examples of good 5-star Forbes service.
Got it.
And eventually we are presented to the team. We are not yet connected to an actual email system.
Okay.
So
there is no communication you guys do internally on computer? Is that
currently not?
Okay.
No. No, we go.
And most of the time it's the case.
Day by day, yes. So we get approximately, if we do a menu change, we get about a month in advance head up, and we get our heads together and we work to plan some certain drinks. Usually we try to get one bartender to come up with one or two, or no, I'm sorry, not one bartender, but have a bartender, which is David and I, have come up with one or two drinks.
Got it.
And also currently our manager, so Flo, she has provided cocktails. She has done a menu for us. And currently we also have a new member, assistant manager. His name is Kyle, that he also has introduced.
And all this is done on the day when, assume you introduce your team, and this is the team on the floor, guys.
Right. So we get about a heads up about a month, and we start narrowing it down. And when the week comes, we just did a beverage cocktail change on the menu, and we had we did a presentation, and we still allowed it 2 weeks for it to tweak.
Got it. So every time there is a change, what you're trying to say is you obviously roll it out, package it again, and then train the people again on that.
Right. And then we do a lineup, which we do in the beginning of the shift, and we introduce this to the service staff, so they're aware. They do take pictures of the cocktails.
Okay.
And we do have a QR code currently that we're using that people can even open the menu, and they can find the list and a picture of the cocktail.
So back to the bartender who's starting and the modules, right? You said you cover the quality aspects. You expect the Forbes hospitality standards. You show them the menu, you show them the place. What other modules do you cover?
Besides the service?
Yes.
So again, that more importantly is the Forbes service, and we want to make sure that we're giving the good quality. But also what is the Nikko and what is the history of the Nikko. But we're basically, we are a big hotel. We're up about 500 rooms, not as big as others, but 500 rooms, and we can cover about 1,000 guests or more. But we are technically a small team. So Anzu Restaurant, which is a fabulous sushi restaurant, we are currently right now post-pandemic 2 bartenders, and we also have a lounge in the hotel with a theater, a cabaret style theater.
Nice.
So currently we're doing a play called the Brat Pack. It's a musical, in homage to the 80s movies. And so we also cater locals or people from the hotel or even from the Bay Area who come to see this show. And we also made a menu for that show, doing an homage to the 80s,
Got it.
styles of cocktails and colors. So we even have a margarita that is, we add blue curacao and give it a blue color and give it a radical name to it.
Cool.
But currently, so two bartenders. So the communication must be tight between us both, David and I. Before even pandemic, there was we were 4 bartenders. Yeah. So we're still expanding.
Got it.
Yes.
So let's walk over your day, right? Let's go back to the business a little bit.
Certainly.
What time you come in? What's your first thing that you do? What's your wrap look like? Before the guests start coming.
So we come to an 8-hour shift. So we gotta cover those 8 hours really close and really tight.
All right.
So we are expected. Restaurant opens at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And so we come in about 4 o'clock. So we really have 1 hour to set up and prep.
What do you do in that?
So everything is fresh. We have some cocktails and that we use fresh garnishes, and so I think the primarily is icing the well and then just getting all the garnishes and then put them next to our well and setup.
Okay.
So then we can be quick during the service.
I believe that's what David was doing.
That is what David is currently doing.
And you deal with the ingredients and the garnishes with the kitchen, or you have your separate vendors for that?
No, we actually, thank you for asking. That's a good question. We do talk to management with the chef or the sous chef who does the ordering.
Got it.
So we order from one produce and makes it a little bit easier. And we have we share a walk-in closet, a walk-in cooler, so that we can have access. And I'm talking about fresh juices, fresh fruit, especially citrus, lemons and limes, and oranges, but then also certain herbs, so rosemary, basil, etc.
And then boom, 5 o'clock, let's say it starts, right? The first guests come in.
Yes.
Now I'm assuming if you were the only one, wow, you just have to be here. I mean, right?
Right.
So that can be a little challenging if it's just one person managing, because then you always need someone to serve, especially if it's a little busier time.
Yeah, usually, so 5 o'clock is a little bit too late for, I think, service at the bar. There's people, because we also cater the hotel.
Yeah.
So we know there's guests who just checked in.
Yeah.
And the first thing they like to do is have a drink, which we try to grant. So as soon as we open that 5 o'clock door, yes, we do see
traffic flowing in,
come into the bar.
Yeah.
Usually reservations start a little bit later, so
you do
have at 5:30, 6:30, 7.
So sorry to interrupt, but let's say in your prep time, you do go and see there is any systems, any reservations you will see. How are you expecting traffic, or it's random, obviously every day? Just or you have any systems to say that
so our reservations is done through Open Table.
Okay, so you do see before.
Yes, and again we do have a lineup. So as you can see, staff is already coming in, and the servers are already setting up the tables. The food runners is also setting up. We do have a busser that also is looking at the details, and the bartenders.
What kind of things do you see to know what is going to happen that day, traffic-wise?
So usually, most importantly, is what's happening here in the hotel. Okay. So we have either a conference. We do have a show tonight, and it is a Thursday night. So we also check how many tickets are sold. There's 120 seats available, and if it's maybe we will get 30-40% of those guests, and they want to dine with us before they enter the show. The show starts actually at 8 o'clock. Wow. So then we sort of look at that, and we see those reservations because they'll put their notes that we're going to a show, but you will see that peak where they want to be the service is, they all arrive at 6 and 7 o'clock, and then all of a sudden 8 o'clock there's a dip, and then 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock we still have reservations, but those are people who just like to dine and take their time. So sometimes that first wave is going to be a big push, and we just have to be on our toes. So
for you, it's really the hotel occupancy, what's happening in the hotel, events and conferences, movies.
Right, and then also expecting what's happening around the city,
like you said, like the game.
Yes, exactly. So baseball, Eagles concert was happened, outside lands. And also even theaters around us. So the Orpheum is a couple blocks away. They're currently closed, but next door the Golden Gate Theater is open. So they have Jesus Christ Superstar, and usually you will see that tendency going towards the weekend.
Got it.
So week we have actual vacationers or conferences, business people, but during the weekend we will get a lot of hits just from people from the state, locals who just come to San Francisco and do a weekend trip.
What is the closing time?
So kitchen closes at 10.
That means bar also closes at 10?
No, we stay a little bit open. So we will still cater. Usually we will close with the kitchen. And we have a lounge downstairs that technically stays later and late, but it just, I guess, in popular demand. So between the weekdays, let's say it's 11 o'clock, and then come. And
then you again have to do something 11 to 12 just to wrap up, clean, and.
That's right.
Got it. Yes. So it's 4 to 12 is your shift, I think.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So 11 in the night to 12 is more of a cleanup.
Right. So we try to do everything also simultaneously. So we do all the hard work, and that we have to go to the back of the kitchen in the very beginning.
Okay.
But while we're in service, if there's one customer, we're still doing side work. So we're cutting up our lemons, making sure, checking our inventory. Usually we always check it, the before, but during, because we just have to be on our toes.
What are the challenging? Sorry, you were saying something.
And then at the end of the night, same thing. So even though those customers, we'll start putting things away, things especially that we're not going to be using, that we can notice that customers are kind of winding down. So they're probably not going to order certain cocktails, but they'll still have a beer or just strong spirit forward drinks.
What do you look for in that meeting from a supplier trying to pitch a new brand? What do you want them to cover?
So what happens a lot of times, and I think, is that when we get pitched a new drink, a new bottle, is because we have a trend going on, and so we buy certain bottles, and then when they present us something new, I think what we're expecting is, if it fits to our hotel or our restaurant, does it go along with? So since we're a Japanese restaurant, yes, I do expect Japanese focused spirits or cocktails that can be made. So those are nuances that we're looking for. But I think as well, it has to fit with the profile of the restaurant. I'm trying to say. And then from there also, if it's something that we can make something fresh, a cocktail. So people will perhaps not order the spirit per se.
So I want to pause there.
Yes.
Because a spiel came in my mind. I want to give value to people. Let's do a role play. I'm a rep, I'm a supplier. I have a gin with Japanese ingredients. Right?
Yes.
And I'm going to pitch you and cover this 4 things immediately. One is, I think this gin belongs here because it's Japanese, this has this Japanese, I'll do that connection in my slide 1. Second would be, I see that you have nothing similar to this, and this is again meeting more theme than, let's say, Bar Hill gin or any other gin that you may have. You can have that, but at least this is another, if there are so many Japanese people here, maybe that's more emotional connection for them here. So number 2. So third is, I'll say, the bottle's beautiful, the price is amazing, and those kind of stuff, which is obviously you're going to look at. But let's say it qualifies. The bottle's good, the price is good, the taste is amazing. Now I'll say, what can I do? I think there is something here. There is a synergy here, John.
Right.
Help me out. I just want to prove my point. Like, give me one chance, 6 bottles, and I'll make sure it moves. What can I do to help you move?
I think the best, using all those ingredients, would be a good suggestion of a recipe for a cocktail.
A cocktail, okay. So I would add in my another slide a cocktail, suggested cocktails. Okay, so that's that. Then
again, if it fits the profile of the restaurant or the hotel, certainly that's the green light right there.
Okay.
I think part is that, and also the price.
How will you trust me? Most of the times it's going to happen by me coming here and trying to help you, doing a tasting. I don't know if you allow or what kind of things, but how do I increase my likability index?
So I think that is also help train the staff.
Okay. So I can add, I'll come here and train your staff about the product.
About the product, and maybe the same line. So if we can get a brand ambassador that can tell to me about gin and can explain my staff about what is gin and where did gin come from and why is this gin in particular useful for the
how to story tell the customer.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So I think that's always good valuable information.
One big thing that struck me when I had my wine and I sold as well. So one thing which was big, is John, I'm going to bring you customers. How can suppliers help, like social media marketing? Are you even asking those questions that, hey, do you have a customer for this in San Francisco?
Right. So we can probably tag along. So again, we do have the theater downstairs, the Feinstein Theater. So obviously we want to promote the show, the theater, but to go along, people do eat and drink in the show. So perhaps, yes, if they were to spread the word to the friends and people they know that there's a show, then obviously we can make a menu where we have that special spirit in our cocktail list. Do you explain?
Yeah, what I was about to go at was, how can I help bartenders move the product apart from being in the bar? Digital marketing or ads, or what would I do in my other slide, like as a support? Let's say if I had to write support program.
Oh, right. So I mean, again, so yeah, social media definitely we're exposed, Feinstein.
So
but you'll also find actually in the building, you'll see posters or photos of our either food or cocktails.
Okay.
So if I know that type of advertising, especially people are going up the elevator, they'll see a cocktail.
So is there like
picture.
a price, for example? So I'll do a buying or something for that?
That
you don't know the policies.
Exactly.
Understood.
Exactly.
No worries. Understood.
But I'm sure they will come in arrangement, especially like if the supplier can give the posters or even the coasters or just material that we can put on a table.
So I'm going to speak this one, especially from the supplier's heart. We do all this, let's say, $1,000 investment for like 6 bottles. Obviously, I'm looking for a long-term partnership here, because I'm not going to make money in the first couple of cases because of the investments that goes in the restaurant and bar brand building. How long do you keep my brand, before you judge that it's not moving, or,
We go by seasons.
Okay. So at least 4 months is a good.
Approximately, yes. If not, we can divide by it's a term of 6.
Right.
6 months, meaning that right now we just started our fall season, hitting a little bit the winter. So then coming next spring, if that doesn't go well, then we'll probably have to do a switch.
Cool.
Coming up with a new menu, new cocktail. So
cool.
But then again, it's always nice to have a full bar. So if you look at our shelves, we don't want empty spaces. But obviously, we want to move the product.
Have you ever sold on the other side? Like, have you been a rep?
I have not been a rep. I am a brand ambassador for Mezcal currently, and I am knocking at doors.
Mezcal's hot like anything. Give me your pitch. What 5 minutes, of what do you do when you knock any bar?
Well, I'm ready with the product itself, so we do a lot of do tasting. So,
but what's the introduction? Like, hey, I'm here from this.
So I tell them about the history. So the mezcal that I'm proud of is one of the first artisanal mezcals that came to market back in 1960. Unfortunately, we came a little late for the mezcal boom.
Yeah.
But I think it's great that that there's more options.